All right, there it is, recording in progress. And we were just talking prior off the air here, Tyler, and it's been a while, honestly, for me that I've done a true interview. I think the last one was last year. We had Justin Bonsignor, who you might know
Mhm.
on the channel. But for those watching that's like have been with us for however like 4 years now with the channel. You know that we started doing things as an interview show, as a podcast show, but now obviously we've turned into a betting show. And so you're probably wondering, well, we already did the betting show on Tuesday. What's going on here? Well, folks, we've got a very special guest on the channel today. His name is Tyler Tomassi. He will be the first driver from Rhode Island to race in the Xfinity Series in over 25 years. And everybody watching this channel, I say it all the time. You guys know I'm from Rhode Island. So this is really, really cool. Tyler's also made some truck starts with Young's Motorsports as well as Riame Brothers Racing, which he'll do again this year. He's competed in the ARCA Menard Series with CW Motorsports, and he is, I'd say, about 25 minutes from me over in West Greenwich, Rhode Island. He is Tyler Tomassi. Am I getting the last name right? I've heard it pronounced both
Yeah,
ways.
Tomassi.
Yeah,
Like,
okay. Tyler
yeah. I mean,
Tomassi.
everyone says it completely different. Like every
Yeah,
time on the TV, they pronounce it different every time they say it. So,
we're from the Northeast, so like you can even say that, and then like 5 minutes later, like somebody you're talking to will totally butcher it. That's just how we do things
yeah.
here. But thanks for joining, man. I appreciate it.
Oh,
So obviously in Rhode Island, right? We've got no tracks. It's rare that like we have a lot of people in your company, right, that have been able to make it to a level like Xfinity, like trucks. Heck, I don't know if anybody from Rhode Island's ever made it to Cup. I was trying to do some stat digging. It doesn't seem like
no.
it.
It's hard to find.
What is it?
I said it's hard to find.
Oh, it's definitely hard to find. So, with all that being said, like, how'd you get into racing? Why'd you get into racing? Like, tell me about that story.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, yeah, Rhode Island's not known for racing. I mean, I tell people that I race in NASCAR and they're like, okay, they don't even
Yeah.
know what it is. So, versus you go to North Carolina and it's I mean everybody knows what racing is, but
Hmm.
no, yeah. So I mean, there's a track called Seekonk Speedway that's in Mass. That's not too far. I mean, it's right outside Rhode Island. But when I was like back in 2016, I was like into like cars, like like street cars and all that
Hmm.
stuff. And so my dad said, "Oh, this track that's close to us has like car racing or whatever." So we went there and we watched. It was an ACT tour race, and
Yep.
it was like a complete wreck fest, like disaster. But I liked it a lot. And then, somebody was telling us about how kids can get into it and they had the bandos there. So then that following year, like March of 2017, we got a bandolero. And then I started racing. That's how I got into it. And up until I knew that I was actually racing a bando, I didn't know anything about racing other than what I watched. I didn't even know what a yellow flag was. Like I
Oh
had to
man.
learn. Like I wasn't someone like my dad didn't know anything about racing. Like so it was definitely just like basically like find some random person and tell them they're driving a race car is about the same thing as that. But I caught on pretty quick and obviously fell in love with it. But yeah, it definitely came out of nowhere. It was just random, just fell on my lap like, oh, now we're racing.
So was it like, did you fall in love with it the minute you got behind the wheel and started making laps, or did it take a little bit to kind of get used to?
Oh, well, so I mean, it was my first race because we it was just me and my dad working on it and we had
Mhm.
no idea what we are doing. And we got the car and they're like race ready. We didn't understand that race ready meant it had a motor and wheels, not, set up. So we went there with the
Yeah,
wrong gear, the everything, and we were just terrible. So my first time out there, I was like, this is boring.
yeah.
But then, after we did that first race, we talked to people and they're like, oh yeah, it's race ready. It has a motor and it will drive, but you got to actually, change the gear and do adjustments.
Yeah, yeah.
And then my second race, I got third. And then after that, I won. And then we were fine after that. So I would say I fell in love with it, I'm not gonna be one of those people that lie and be like, yeah, I fell in love. No, the
Mhm.
first time I hated it. I was like, this is boring. The second race, when I was actually competing, I'm like, okay, this is fun. And then I liked it from there on out.
That's wow. That is a crazy story. Usually, like I feel like a lot of these race car drivers are kind of grown up into it and they work on cars, but so then they like know a lot about what they're getting into. That is crazy. You just like throw it in the fire, we'll see what happens, and then like
Yeah,
my race too, there it
you had
was.
no idea.
So did you were you homeschooled? Did you go to high school?
No, I went to school. I went to Exeter West Greenwich High
All right.
School.
Yeah, EWG, of course. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
asked that because, again, like what was you obviously did you start doing it when you were in like school still, high school?
We did, no, I started racing in 2016. Sorry, 2017. I'm 21 now, so it was like 13-ish
Okay. So
around
like
21, 14.
right, like that area, like well, honestly, a lot of these areas, especially like Southern Rhode Island, it's a lot of basketball, right? It's baseball, it's sports like that, stick and ball sports. Like, what was it like when, maybe some of your friends are going to play ball or whatever, and you're like, oh, I've got a race tonight. Like, what is that dynamic?
Well, I mean, it was definitely cool because I started racing late models at 15. So I'm
Hmm.
over here like a freshman in high school and I'm driving, late models.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, to be honest, like not a lot of people got it. They either would make fun of it or they would just kind of like not understand it. Or
yeah,
actually, I ran into a lot of people just, especially when I was 15, and you like tell teachers and stuff. A lot of people who just didn't believe it. Like, imagine being
really.
a teacher and like your 15-year-old student is out there driving. I mean, now we got 12-year-olds in late models. I can't
I
even
know.
imagine, you're a teacher and your 12-year-old students driving in the car store. Like, but yeah, some people wouldn't believe it. Not a lot of people took it seriously. It's funny because after I graduated and now I'm getting more into it, I get more messages from people I used to go to school with. Oh, this is cool. Like, I guess like now they kind of understand. Like, yeah, but it wasn't really popular over here. Nobody really honestly cared.
Yeah, no, damn right though. I'm glad. I'm glad they're like starting to like because it is freaking cool, man. I mean, like to get to the level that you're at, even just like in the small number of starts you'll have this year, which we'll talk about, like that's a big deal, man. I mean, you're up against last weekend's truck race. Kyle Busch is like winning the truck race, so like you're
Yeah.
up against guys like that, and that's how the sport works. So.
And he's already confirmed to be in one of the races I'm running this year at Nashville. So,
So I mean, look at that, right? Like Tyler
and
Tomassi.
Larson's running Bristol too. Larson's going to be in my Bristol Xfinity race. So, I mean,
Come on, right?
yeah,
Like
no, it's cool.
that. No, that's awesome. So you talk about kind of how you started and kind of where we're getting to now. What do you think has been kind of like one of the biggest challenges you've had to overcome? Or maybe it's not over, you haven't overcome it yet, but like what's the biggest challenge you face in your young racing
Well,
career?
well, the biggest challenge now, I would say, with like NASCAR is, you know, with us putting all our money into NASCAR,
Yep.
I used to race weekly at Seekonk. Now it's like 4 or 5 times a year. I go like 2 months without being in a car, and that's like the
Hmm.
hardest, just being inactive and then showing up. You're out of a car for 6 months and you show up and you're thrown, with like at Martinsville and be thrown in a car and have like 15-minute practice. And
Yeah.
I haven't driven a race car since Bristol in September, and it's like welcome back. And it's like, so definitely that's the hardest thing.
Yeah.
Hopefully, as we get bigger budget, I can do like at least like this year, I want to at least run some late model races at like Seekonk or something, just like to fill in the gap, just so that
Hmm.
because when you take a long time off and you get back in a race car, the sensations are so overwhelming at first. Like it's
Yep.
like, because when you do it every week, you don't notice how fast you're going. It's just like you're just driving. But when you take a long time off, you get out, it's like everything from the horsepower to speed. It feels like it's way more extreme than what it is, but you eventually get used to it. It's just tough.
No, yeah, honestly, I've never thought of it like that at all. Especially with the speed aspect. Obviously, it's going to take a while to get adjusting back to like, turning the wheel and like surroundings, not being around like racing in traffic and all that sort of stuff. But that is crazy that like the speed almost like takes you by surprise. So are you racing at all? So you said you want to do like 4 to 5 or a few Seekonk stuff. Like
Yep.
is what is the reason? Like is the reasoning you just have to truly shift all your mindset and focus and dollars into NASCAR that you just like
Yeah.
really can't do it? Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's taken a lot. I mean, and the unfortunate fact is that late model racing now is it's not as expensive, but it's not
Hmm.
cheap. It's not like I can go pull out a late model. I mean, maybe if I wanted to go run dead last, but like if I want to actually go and like compete even for a weekly late model event at Seekonk, you're still putting in a ton of money to go there and be competitive. And it's just like you sit there and you think to yourself, man, would I rather spend the money to be here or just spend that money to go run another truck race or
Yeah.
something?
Yep. Yeah.
It's just no, I definitely like I might run like some legend car races. They're pretty affordable and just like anything just
Stay fresh.
to race
Yeah.
because it just keeps you in that race mindset. I mean, you get so caught up in the business side of racing, sponsorship, all that stuff, and then you get thrown in a car and you're like, oh, I actually have to drive a race car. I haven't really
Yeah.
actually thought about racing in forever. So hopefully I'll help. I think I'll do definitely a few legend races this year.
Good, good, good. Yeah, let me know. And yeah, I'm close to Seekonk. I think I actually saw an ACT race either last year or the year before, and it was not a wreck fest, dude. It was an awesome race. They were like tight at Seekonk, bumper to bumper, like literally. There was like barely anybody going a lap down. That's how
Yeah.
competitive it was. It was awesome racing. And then I'm sure, have you ever seen a thrill show at Seekonk?
Yeah, one time.
They are wild.
You know what's funny is last night, this is so random, but I literally, no joke, had a dream that I was in a thrill show for no reason. Then you mentioned that. So it's
Wow,
kind
look
of
at
happening.
that. You don't want to be thrown into that, dude.
No,
That
because
is not the experience you want.
in my dream, I literally remember saying to myself, I hope I don't get hurt before my Xfinity race. That's all
Yeah, yeah.
I
Oh my gosh. All right, so you mentioned something that in your last answer that I wanted to touch on because I find it so interesting. You said, like it's tough, right, to go back at Seekonk, right, not have a lot of money and then like run last, right? Run slow, like
Yeah.
and obviously like someone who you've done this before, you've won races, you've ran up front, like that's a tough thing I would assume for you to compartmentalize and like mentally. So let's now take that to Xfinity. You're going to be at MBN Motorsports, and like realistic expectations is that's a car that, it'll be tough for that car to run up front, but you're a competitor. I'm sure you set realistic expectations of like, okay, here's where I want to run and what I want to do in that ride to like satisfy myself, my team, my sponsors. So one, like, what is that realistic expectation? Then two, as a winner, as a competitor, like, how do you compartmentalize, like,
Yeah, I think so. Like, obviously, like the Seekonk level, like if I were to go run a late model race, I mean, it's different. Like,
yeah,
what am I going to really get out of it just running in the bag? But
mm-hmm,
versus like Xfinity, I think right now everything's new. Like, wow, I'm in NASCAR. I'm getting the travel that like it doesn't really bother me that much to be
okay,
running in, if that makes sense. Now,
yeah,
like 5 years from now, am I gonna want to keep running in the back? No. But right now, it's just such a new experience and it's fun. I really don't care. I'm more of happy to be there. But I'd say our goals for Martinsville is just make the race, and
mm-hmm,
then I whatever happens, happens. I mean, Martinsville is probably the best place to take advantage of something, right? Make the race, and you could sneak away with a top 25 if people start wrecking each other or
yeah,
something. I mean, it's a good place to go and just miss the wrecks. It's just get into the race, which the thing about, sure, because you follow NASCAR, you really don't know how hard it's going to be to make the race or not until like the entry list comes out. We could be sitting here talking about this and they get 36 cars that show up and we're not even worrying about it.
mm-hmm,
Or you
mm-hmm,
can get two extra, but there are people you don't need to worry about. Or you can get 43 and it's like three Hendrick Motorsports cars and you're like, don't even know why you're going. So you really we don't know, but I mean either way we're going, we're gonna try. And I think that we'll be fine. I think we'll make definitely at least one of them, especially with my previous experience at Bristol. And
mm-hmm.
I had to qualify my way in at Bristol before and I did it. So I think we'll be fine.
No, I love it, and I love that mindset, and I think honestly, when I was thinking of that question, I was like, "Well, I wonder what he would say back." I feel like that's the best answer you can give, right? Like just kind of live in the moment because I feel like a lot of these guys will get into some of these part-time opportunities with, setting unrealistic expectations, and then it kind of gets in their head, and like they're just not able to like truly just appreciate what's going on. And for you, it's going to be racing on national TV with the likes of Kyle Larson, with the likes of Kyle Busch, with an opportunity to get into a race at Martinsville, at a Bristol, at a Nashville, like that's like pretty awesome. And you just said it yourself. And so, no, man, that is awesome, and I'm looking forward to seeing you out there. I think so. You mentioned like you feel most confident at Bristol. Is that where you feel the most confident?
For making it in. Just, I mean, it's funny. I could sit here and say this, and I can make it into Martinsville and miss
Hmm.
Bristol. But I mean, just because of previous experience, I've been in a D&Q situation there last year. Went there, and my first lap missed a corner. Was going to be out. Went into and I only got a couple laps of practice because we blew an oil line. So went there and I made it in the show and sent Marco Andretti home. So like, I mean, so I just think maybe that's why I feel a little more confident there. I mean, I
Hmm.
could go to Martinsville and be like, wow, I like this place. I'm way better here than I am at Bristol. But I mean, Martinsville, I think I'll be good because it's a half mile flat short track. Like that's what I'm used to is flat short tracks. And Bristol's not flat, but I mean, it's a short track. But
Yep.
so
Little
I think,
little bit more banking than Seekonk, just a tad.
yeah, I think that out of all the places to go and have to qualify your way into and do all this, like the races I chose were the best. Like I think it would have been not the smartest decision to like go to like Texas or something as my
Yeah.
first race and try to make it in. It'd just be like it wouldn't make any sense. I think this is the best place to go and give myself the best shot. But the truck opportunities will be good. We'll have points, so we don't even have to worry about that with the trucks. So,
Hmm. Hmm.
um, yeah, I mean, we missed the race. You just go try again, and you try again, and you try again.
Yeah.
So
I love it.
eventually, we'll make it. We'll be fine.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So you mentioned, like 5 years down the line, and it's funny because we're thinking alike again with some of this stuff. I had that queued up. So 5 years down the line, you're obviously 21 years old now. Where do you see yourself in racing? I'm not even saying NASCAR. Maybe it is that, but just in motorsports and racing in general, where do you see yourself?
Yeah, I think that I don't know. I feel like now at this point, it's going to be hard to go backwards. Like you're
Yeah.
kind of there. I think my goal really is just not. It's hard because like it's so money dependent. Like tomorrow, I could land a huge sponsor, and I'm running the rest of the season. Like you know what
Hmm.
I'm saying?
Hmm. Hmm.
I think my goal is every year is just to do more races than the last and work towards a full-time season. So 5 years from now, if I'm only running 15 races a year, then it's better than where we started, right?
Yep.
And obviously try to get in some better equipment, but just try to just run more races and just see where things go and yeah, eventually end up in some more competitive equipment as we go down the road. But it's really hard to say in my position. No idea. I don't know where
Yeah.
I'll 4 races.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And yeah, man, it is such a it's an interesting sport. It really is. And like a lot of people that oftentimes, I'm honestly in my whole family like the only person that likes motorsports, likes racing, likes NASCAR. And I always like tell them, what people just don't understand is the business side of how this stuff works. You could be the most talented guy if you don't have a sponsor and you don't have money. Good luck and have fun running part time. And we see it everywhere in the Xfinity series, in the Cup series, in the Truck series, and you see some of these guys, and you're like, man, he made it all the way up here, and he's got the right backing, he had the right opportunity. It's just so much of like this sport, and I say our sport because I feel like I've been a part of like being in the landscape now for a few years. I've met some awesome people. I mean, honestly, they all say the same thing, right? It's like right place, right opportunity, right person you meet. And maybe it is, right? Maybe it is you catch somebody's eyes at Martinsville, right? When you're knocking out somebody who's trying to make the race like a big name like Andretti. Like maybe that's all it takes. So yeah. I also wanted to ask you, like, do you feel at all any, I don't want to say association to Rhode Island, but like, do you ever feel like, all right, like I feel like I'm doing this like for my state, and I know like who knows how many people are watching, but the people that are from Rhode Island, like now we have somebody to root for. Like, you ever feel that?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, I feel like you'd be surprised, or maybe you wouldn't be surprised, but the amount of people that like I tell in NASCAR I'm from Rhode Island, they're like, where?
Yeah,
Or they're like, oh yeah, Long Island. Yeah, I know
yeah,
that.
yeah. Oh,
Long
I get that all
Island?
the time, dude.
Not Long Island, Rhode Island.
Yeah,
But no, so definitely, I feel like not a lot of people know about Rhode Island, or it's not, and it's just unique, right? So put them on the map, and hoping to bring some Rhode Island companies on board in talks with some. So it would be cool to represent the state and, put it on the map.
hell yeah. Hell yeah.
It-
Absolutely. Again, like you're giving us something to root for because right now, like, some of my favorite guys, you've got Logano. I mentioned Bonsignore. He's not even from here, but he races around here. LaJoy has done some stuff, and but a lot of these guys, man, it's like they're from down south, and like I can't always relate to them as much as I can with some of these guys that I feel like I just know how they did it, and I know they did it the right way because it's tough around here. And what people don't understand is like you watch a night at Seekonk, you go to Stafford Motor Speedway, Thompson Motor Speedway, it's competitive. And like
yeah.
there are some like dogs out there that are like the Wheel and Modified Tour. When you see some of those guys, like, and how good they are and how they can like Doug Kobe, I take for an example of a guy like he ran a truck race, he runs like top 10. And it's like, who is this guy? It's like, you don't know this guy? Well, we know him, and because we
Yeah.
watch him and he's damn good, and like I just feel like a lot of people don't always understand the competitiveness of this area. Like, do you feel that as well?
Well, some of the best I know they say it all the time, but some of the world's best race car drivers are running 30 lap street stock races right now. Like, and you
Yep.
just don't know it. Like, and yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate, but I mean, a lot of people, and I try to tell people, and like a lot of people have to understand is complaining about it don't do much. It's
Yeah.
just kind of what it is. And you have to understand that you have to put, the business side and marketing side first beside
Hmm.
driving. Once you understand that, things come a little easier. I mean, it's never going to be easy, but, unfortunately, you do have to get oh, my talent's going to get me there out of your head and think, okay, what do I have to do? You have to just put on your business hat, not the
Yeah.
driver hat. And just that's what I meant though about getting caught up in the business side, and then you get to the racetrack and you're like a fish out of water because like you just get so involved with everything else besides driving the car. And that's where I'm at right now. So hopefully I can do some weekly stuff or just something to, get my mind off of the phone calls and the emails. So
Yeah. Hey, I hear you. I just logged off of my kind of job like that. The phone calls, the emails, the you know it. So, yeah, it's it's definitely tough. So I know you're going through with that stuff. But man, this has been awesome because I feel like you really give a unique perspective to what a lot of, again, like I feel like a lot of people just watch this sport and they see the big names and they think like, oh, like, they got there from XXX, and it's like, no, no, that's not it. Like, there's so many drivers around the US that are so damn talented, but just don't get that opportunity because of like the sponsorship aspect. And for you to bring that perspective of what it's like and how hard you have to work, and like adapting to, hey, I'm out of the race car, now I'm back in, like, holy smokes, like throw me right in the fire.
not to mention too, you put in so much work, business side, money wise, do all this just to get on the racetrack, and then it's like you feel like you get all this weight on you because it's like all the emails, all the phone calls, all the connections, and it's racing. Like you could blow a right front in practice. You could it's just the stupidest things. And when you race weekly, like when I race at Seacon weekly, stuff doesn't really bother you. Yeah, it's
Hmm.
annoying, but then you show up to the racetrack and then you start to think like this is still racing. Like it doesn't matter hard you work, something stupid can still ruin it all. And it's
Is
it's a lot
that
of pressure.
is that in the back of your mind when you hop into the car? Like, is that something you think about, or are you like, yeah?
So for like last year for my truck race, yeah, because it was the only one I had scheduled. This year, I know it's only 4 races, but after last year's, I know I ended up running more races, but going into it being this is my only race,
Hmm.
now having at least four, I feel a lot more relaxed, even though it's only four. Some people probably wouldn't feel like that to me. I'm like, oh, four. Like
Yeah, yeah,
I don't have all my eggs in this one race. And that's stressful. Like that's a crazy feeling to have, just showing up and being like, this could be it. I was
yeah.
convinced racing last year, my truck start at Lucas Oil, that was going to be the only NASCAR start I ever made.
Wow, really?
And I was running the ARCA race that day, but I mean, I just thought that whole day that definitely helped. Once I added that ARCA race, I was like, at least I got 2 shots to have a good day. But um, it was just yeah, it was a lot of pressure, but it ended up being way better than it could have. Then we ended up running Milwaukee and then doing Bristol. So yeah, I think we ended up running four. I always forget because the 2 races on the same day feel like one race. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I ran three, but it really ran four. So, you know, yeah, no, this year will feel a lot more less pressure because I know that I'm running four.
yeah,
And usually that turns into more is most of the time. So last year was one, turned into four. This year's four, hopefully turned into eight.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's awesome, man. No, honestly, this has been awesome to just learn about this side because, like I said, like I know about it, but to actually hear it firsthand, I think is awesome, and I think a lot of people that watch this channel are going to appreciate this. So that was awesome. As I said to you prior to us starting, when we used to do this every week, I always used to do something fun at the end with the guests. So I'll give you a couple things that we did. So I had Tyler on, a good friend of the show. He's Larson spotter. We played Where's Waldo. So like right, he's always using his eyes. He's got to be on top of his thing. So I had him play Where's Waldo. We had Jeff Kerr on way back. He was a pit crew guy for years for a lot of different teams, and we had him like basically build a roster of cartoon characters of like who build a pit crew team of cartoon characters. He picked guys like Shrek, stuff like that, and gave a reason. So that was a lot of fun as well. But like just examples of that, like fun stuff. So what you and I are gonna do is play a game. Have you ever heard of a game called Spottle?
no,
No, you haven't heard of Spottle. All right, this is good. This is good. So
might be struggling on this one.
no, no, you won't. You won't. I promise. So, essentially, how Spottle is, I play this pretty much every day, but I waited to play it because I wanted to play with my guest here. So, essentially, you and I are going to work together to find a musical artist. So, we guess an artist, and then the Spottle will give us clues on if we're close to the
Boy,
artist. Okay, it could
I'm
be
gonna
a
be stubborn.
solo, could be male, female, could be a group, and you'll see how it works. Yeah, I mean that's the best I can give you on how this thing works. So I usually play this at work. I have gotten no information. We could get it in one guess. We could get it. We couldn't. You get 10 guesses, so maybe we won't get it. Who knows? But here we go. So I'm going to share my screen.
Yep, you found it right away.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know how this stuff works. All right, can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see it.
All right, good stuff. All right, so I'm gonna let you take the first guess here. Yeah, guess an artist could be like I said, could be a band, could be solo, and we'll go from there.
Wait. So, I just don't understand. So I could just guessing something completely random. Oh,
Yes,
guess the
musical
artist,
artist, musical artist.
like the artist of the day, like today, like
No, so like name a musical artist you listen to.
Taylor Swift.
All right, Taylor Swift. Love it. There we go.
Oh, yeah,
So we're
good
gonna
job.
throw Taylor Swift in here. And so, all right, so now we know that this person, this artist, is not female. They're not pop. They're from the US though, because that's green. Uh,
Oh, I get it.
it's a
I get
group and they debuted before 2006. All right, so now I'll throw one in there. With your approval, of course. How about something like what about the Eagles? What do we feel about that?
it. There's this other in the name, but I can't think of it. Oh, well, never mind. Yeah, you're right. Because I forgot the genre isn't.
Okay,
It's
yeah,
a.
yeah, true, true. All right, so
But I
we'll
was thinking of. I can't even remember what I was thinking of, but
that's all right. Okay, Eagles. Here we go. All right, so we got a male rock group because it wasn't solo, but it doesn't have five members. Later than the 70s, and I don't I mean I guess less popular than the Eagles. That's tough to say. So let's try like an 80s US rock band. What are we thinking?
so I don't know much about a rock. Like Aerosmith is not.
Arrows.
No, they might not
I think
be that.
they'd be a little bit I think they'd probably be around this time. Um
Well, I don't know because maybe I know like rock is probably the worst direction this could have went in for me to start
what do you
guessing.
listen to? What music?
It's like pop stuff or
All
like
right,
rap
fair
music.
enough.
So
Let's see. Let's try. Oh, gee, are these guys British? No, I think they're American. This is embarrassing. All right, okay. So we got a four-member rock male group from like I don't know. I guess like the 80s or 90s. Sheesh. Or could it be? No, because I was gonna say maybe it's like Fallout Boy. Oh man, Tyler, we're gonna have some trouble here.
yeah, I know. If it was any other genre besides rock, maybe I could guess, but I'm like, I don't even know where to start for like a rock band at this point. Like I can't even think of like one besides Aerosmith.
Aerosmith. Um, Jeez. How about some 90s rock bands? Let's try let's try these guys. See where that gets us. All right, so okay, all right. So now I know this is obviously tough for
Yeah.
you, but hey, we're getting close. We got like an early 90s rock band. Man, oh geez. You got anything?
No, I honestly don't. Besides, I'm just gonna keep saying Aerosmith. You should try it. Imagine if
Let's
I was.
try Aerosmith. Let's just throw it in there. Why not, right?
What'd you do if it's actually the one? That'd be so funny.
I,
It's
I think
definitely not.
I think we'd have to get no, all right. Well, hey, we got half we got half right.
Yeah.
90s rock band from the US. Jeez, this is rough. This is rough. I feel like I know some 70s and obviously some thousands, but 90s. Oh man. How about what about these guys? What are they? The Counting Crows. What do we think here? Are they oh they can
Actually, see, what's funny is like once you say these, then I think of it. Oh yeah, I've listened to their music, but it's like those type of songs like I just don't think of until you say it. Just like
No, I well this is good. This is good. So I think all right, we're in the realm. So we've got so they're a little before 93 and after 87. Oh, what about oh no, they're three, aren't they? I was gonna say Weezer. You've heard of Weezer, right?
no, I haven't heard of that one. Probably heard
No.
one of the songs.
Four members from 1990. Sheesh. How about like Pearl Jam? Okay, we're getting close.
Wait, so
We
that
got
means it's in the year 1991?
yeah, yeah. Well, I don't think you and I were born then, so that doesn't really help.
No, definitely not.
Oh, shoot. Okay. Four members from 91 Rock. Gosh. Let's just do something like this. Let's start.
Yeah, Drake, that's what it is.
Yeah, it's
Imagine.
got to be Drake. How about these guys? No, I think they're British. Oh man. This is making for good television. Oh, how about the Chili Peppers? You've heard of them, right?
Yeah, actually, yeah, I have. Now that I think about it.
Close.
This is like impossible.
It is not easy. Now I get this a lot, but it's usually never rock from 1991.
Yeah,
It's
but
like
there's so
it's
many
like
rock
pop
bands out
from
there.
yeah, like yesterday I think it was like pop from like 2011 and the
Yeah,
answer is
like if it was like the
rock.
early 2000s, I'd be able to probably guess a lot of stuff. But this is just like, besides
Whew.
Aerosmith, I don't know where to start.
We got two guesses left, Tyler. Man, I guess we could just guess Aerosmith again. Oh, geez. 91. What's the no, no, no. Like they're probably like grunge, I would say. The Nirvana. Now I'm just typing stuff, seeing if something
Yeah,
sticks.
that's a good way to do it. That's probably what I'd be doing. Is just like type it in some like keywords.
Yeah, yeah. If you see anything that sticks, let me know.
Yeah, the 90s
Oh,
was like,
Foo Fighters. Nope,
you're
nope.
close.
Yeah, we're close. We got one more guess. Man, I hope the comments section is just like, man, you guys know nothing about music.
Yeah, basically. They'd have somebody to constantly be like, I would have gotten that on the first
Yeah,
try.
oh, definitely. Oh, definitely. We'll be getting that. We got one last guess.
The 90s, I forgot. There's a song,
Yeah, yeah.
Floyd.
Oh, that helps. That helps. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Do that. What's a good song? What's like a song from the 90s that you think was pretty
You know,
big?
like that, the band's like Floyd or something, or
Pink Floyd?
yeah, that might be, that's probably going back to like 70s, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah, Tyler, that's like 60s.
Oops. At
Uh,
least I said something other than Aerosmith.
yeah, yeah, no, you got it something else. That's good. Um, See, like I know Blink 182 is from the 90s, but I know they're three members, so I know they wouldn't be the answer. Man, wow, we just completely this is a rough go at it. I'm hoping that when they show what the answer is, you do end up being like, "Oh yeah, I've heard of them."
Probably.
All right, let's just try what did we need? 1991. Let's
Hmm.
try Nirvana. Let's see what happens with them. No, but you know what? I feel like they'd be more popular than all these fellows here. So we're not gonna guess them. We're gonna guess we are gonna guess Lincoln Park. No, no, we're not. Yeah, let's just do it. Let's see what the answer was.
Wow, we were Northwest on that one.
Oh, wow. Have you heard of them?
Yes, because it's all my girlfriend listens to, like the melody of it. And I was like, oh, whatever. So I would have gotten it, like on the second try if I had remembered the name of the thing.
I so here's a crazy thing. I actually saw the Smashing Pumpkins live this past summer. They were opening for Green Day. So if any of the members of the Smashing Pumpkins are watching this great interview, I apologize. We apologize for not being able to guess that. I can't wait for the comment section to be like, God, these guys, these
Yeah.
guys know nothing. Oh
Thank
man.
God, like that literally couldn't have gone anywhere. So
Oh, 100%.
yeah,
See, but like, and comment section, let us know. Like, I don't consider the Smashing Pumpkins rock. I feel like they're kind of like grunge.
that's what I was thinking too. Because I remember I was thinking of like the melody, and that's why one I couldn't think of the song name, but two I was like, no, that's just not. I was thinking like Aerosmith, like
Yeah,
like
yeah, no, I'm
crazy.
I'm with you. Something like true rock, like Van
The
Halen,
definition of
Aerosmith.
rock kind of is like I've noticed like people's definition of rock is kind of like eh.
Yeah,
Like they yell once or twice in the song and they have a guitar, then it's rock.
it's rock to them. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Man, that was a tough showing. But hey, what are we gonna do? Really appreciate you joining the show today, and definitely want to keep in touch. We will be rooting for you. Tell everybody the starts they can watch you for both trucks and Xfinity.
So my first race is March 29th. Practice and qualifying is March 28th at Martinsville on the CW. I know the race is at 5. I don't know what time practice and qualifying is, probably like 3 or something on the CW app, and then on TV for the race. And then same thing for Bristol. It's on April 12th. Everything's on one day, practice, qualifying, and the race.
Nice.
And then after that, May 30th at Nashville on FS1 sometime at like 8. Yeah, it is 8. It's late, and that's going to be a long day. And then I always like the 2-day shows. A lot of people don't, but I do. It's like I like to have practice and qualifying on one day. Just think about that, and then the next day you just show up and race, nothing else.
Yeah, get your mind right.
And then so yeah, May 30th, trucks, FS1, and then Bristol again on September 11th, FS1, and that's a 1-day show. And I think the race is at like 8 or something. So, and yeah, we are in talks of maybe adding a race or switching Bristol out with something, but we'll have news about that soon. But
All right.
it's what it is now.
And then one more. Where can people find you on socials as well?
Basically Tyler Tomassi on everything.
All right.
Pretty
E-
easy to
Easy.
find. I don't
Love
have
it.
interesting names.
Tyler Tomassi on Facebook, on Instagram, I know as well. So awesome. Easy
And
enough.
yep. And then I use TikTok sometimes. I used to use it a little more, but with its future kind of like all over the place,
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
hate to put in all that effort and then it disappear.
That is the one thing. Well, honestly, you messed me on my Instagram account. We don't really use that. We're big on obviously YouTube as well as X, as the fans know. But no, appreciate the time. So there it is, guys. Make sure you watch and support our good friend from Rhode Island, Tyler Tomassi here. For everybody here at Johnny on the Track, thank you for watching, and we got some bets this weekend. So if you're watching right now, as I always say, let's win some money. Thanks for watching.